Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down the 4 essential jobs that every living thing, from a tiny microbe all the way up to you, has to do. Every single second, just to stay alive. This is basically the fundamental operating system for life itself. So let's start with a simple question. What's the real difference between a rock and a rabbit? I know, it sounds obvious, right? But the answer gets to the very heart of what it means to be alive. It's not just about hopping around, it's about a hidden set of constant, complex jobs that separate the living from the non-living. And the answer is life processes. These are the absolute must-do functions you see here: nutrition, respiration, transportation, and excretion. You can think of them as the 4 core jobs that every organism, from a bacterium to a blue whale, has to perform 24/7 without fail just to keep the lights on. So in this explainer, we're going to walk through how life solves these 4 critical problems. First, how do you fuel up? Then, how do you unlock the energy from that fuel? After that, how do you deliver it everywhere it needs to go? And finally, how do you take out the trash? Let's dive in. Okay, first things first, job number 1, fueling up. This is all about nutrition. I mean, it makes sense, right? Without getting raw materials into the system, absolutely nothing else can happen. Now, what's fascinating is that life has basically evolved 2 main strategies for this. You can see them here. On one side, you've got the autotrophs. These are the self-feeders, like plants, who are just brilliant chemists, making their own food from sunlight and air. And then on the other side, you've got the heterotrophs, like us, who need to eat other living things to get our fuel. And since we're heterotrophs, our fueling process starts right here with the digestive system. Now, don't worry about all the labels on the diagram. The big idea is actually pretty simple. It's basically one long, incredibly sophisticated tube where food is systematically taken apart into tiny, useful molecules. And the crucial thing to get is that this whole process is incredibly specific. It's not just a random mashup. It starts right in the mouth, where enzymes in your saliva get to work on carbs. Then, your stomach takes over, using powerful acid to break down proteins. And finally, the small intestine pretty much wraps it all up, finishing the job and absorbing all those valuable nutrients. But look at how plants solve the exact same problem. It's amazing. Instead of a mouth, they've got these tiny little pores on their leaves called stomata. They act like little doorways, letting the plant breathe in carbon dioxide. Then, using the power of sunlight, they turn that CO2 and water into food. It's just an unbelievably elegant system. Okay, let's move on to the next job, because you can see how these things build on each other. Just having fuel isn't enough, right? You've got to be able to use it. You need some way to turn that food into actual, usable power. And that's where respiration comes in. Now, we have to be super clear here. This is not just about breathing in and out. In biology, respiration is the chemical process that happens deep inside every single one of your cells to unlock the energy that's stored in the food you just ate. It all starts with glucose, that simple sugar that's pretty much the universal fuel for life. In the very first step, the cell literally splits a molecule of glucose in half, creating 2 smaller molecules. And that initial split releases the first little burst of energy. From that point, the cell has 2 choices. If there's oxygen around, it does what's called aerobic respiration. This process completely breaks down those molecules and releases a ton of energy. It's super efficient. But if there's no oxygen, it has to switch to anaerobic respiration. This is way less efficient, and it creates byproducts like lactic acid, which, by the way, is what causes that burning feeling in your muscles when you're in an all-out sprint. So let's recap. You've gotten fuel through nutrition. You've unlocked its energy through respiration. But now you have a brand new problem. How do you get all that good stuff, the fuel, the energy, the oxygen, to every single one of the trillions of cells in your body? Well, in us, that massive delivery job falls to the circulatory system, with the heart as its incredible, powerful central pump. And get this muscle is unbelievable. It beats over 100,000 times a day, pumping about 2,000 gallons of blood. That's enough to fill a small swimming pool every single day. And this whole delivery network has different kinds of highways, each designed perfectly for what it does. Arteries need thick, elastic walls so they can handle that high-pressure blast of blood coming straight from the heart.
Veins, on the other hand, are carrying lower pressure blood back to the heart. So they have thinner walls and these really clever one-way valves to make sure the blood never flows backward.
And again, let's look at plants. They have their own genius solution. They don't have a heart, so they rely on this really sophisticated plumbing system. A set of tubes called xylem act like tiny straws, pulling water all the way up from the roots. At the same time, another set of tubes called phloem transports the sugary food made in the leaves down to every other part of the plant.
All right, we're almost there. We've fueled up, we've unlocked energy, and we've delivered all the supplies. But all that activity, all those chemical reactions, they create waste products. And if that waste is allowed to just build up, it quickly becomes toxic. Which brings us to the final and absolutely critical job of being alive.
And this is the job of excretion, the body's official waste management system. In humans, the star players here are the kidneys. You can think of them as these ultimate purification filters. They are constantly cleaning your blood, pulling out toxic stuff like urea, and at the same time, carefully balancing your body's water and salt levels. It's an amazing balancing act.
And if we could zoom way, way in on a kidney, we'd see where the real magic happens. Each kidney is packed with about 1 million of these microscopic filtering stations called nephrons. Honestly, you can think of each nephron as a tiny, highly advanced security checkpoint. It expertly separates the harmful waste to be removed as urine, while sending all the good stuff, clean blood, water, nutrients, right back into the body.
So when you finally step back and you look at all 4 of these jobs together, you realize something really profound. None of them works alone. They are completely and just beautifully interconnected. I mean, it really is the ultimate teamwork. Nutrition is the supply chain, bringing in the fuel. Respiration is the power plant, unlocking the energy from that fuel. Transportation is the logistics network, delivering everything where it needs to go. And excretion is the sanitation crew, cleaning up the whole mess. Each system is totally dependent on all the others to function. And really, that interconnectedness is the main takeaway here. If just one of these 4 essential jobs fails, it creates this huge domino effect that can bring the entire system grinding to a halt. It really makes you appreciate the constant, incredible, and totally invisible ballet of processes that are happening inside you right now, all just so you can be alive.